Then it was Labor Day coming up. Both my cousins, well, one was Margaret Fernando, and she really wasn't a first cousin, but she was like in our family group. And one was Dina Collenbrander, and there was a boy for each one of us, and we were to go to Vancouver to Stanley Park. On the way home, Fred let this other boy drive his car, the father's car. And it was a Dodge, and it was a little bit top heavy because he wanted to sit with me instead of having to drive the car. So what do you know about that boy? Got off the road and then tried to get on, and it was top heavy, it tipped over. There was a holder for a vase. You know, the cars were kind of fancy in some ways, and you had a vase on the back seat for flowers. Well, in being tossed over, I got punctured on my bottom on that rack. It was the first time I went any place with him, and I got in an accident. Well, everybody said they weren't going to say anything about it. They weren't going to tell there was an accident, I guess. Maybe, I don't remember, but I said, well, I'm not going to lie. I'm going to tell what happened, and I'll tell them not to say anything. That Christmas that I got, Fred bought me some crystal beads for Christmas. So my father said I couldn't keep them. And so I said to my mother, you know, I don't mind giving the beads back, but I said, it'll hurt their feelings. And I said, and what can he do with them? He'll just lay them on the shelf, and he won't, you know. It's money he'd spent for nothing. And and we went, you know, we weren't that close of friends. I said, but I don't want to hurt his feelings, and I don't, I said I could give him back, but I said, you know, this is quite a bit of money for them to spend for something like that. And this is the time of the Depression. And so I kept the beads.
But did you let your dad know you kept them, or no?
Yeah, well, my mother must have kind of talked to him later and said how it would hurt the family, you know. It not only hurt Fred, but it would hurt the family too if he had to bring the beads back, and that money was spent like something like that. But anyway, that was just kind of the beginning. But I also told him that I wouldn't ever marry anybody that didn't have a high school education. I figured they're just, you know, plain useless. Well, look what happened to this guy. He became student body president, had the lead in the operetta, did everything. The only thing is, and I think he, you know, had an interest in probably some other girls there at school too. But I was working in Everett, and he would come to Everett sometimes, and he could stay with his friends that he had of long ago, and he would get to see me too. And I would still get to come home sometimes on weekends. Well, then my parents moved there permanently, and his last year in high school, he was finished in January, and superintendent wanted him to go to college real bad. And his little brother was 16 years old and graduating in the same class. That 16-year-old brother went to the college and became a professor at the University of California in Davis. Became well known all over. He was on some team that was judging livestock, and he got a special award from Portland, and where they went to judge. President, Associated Student Body President. He didn't play football, but he was the manager. Was just into everything. He had the lead in the operetta. But, you know, I was working and he was going to school. And so I saw him, you know, occasionally if he came to Everett, or if I came to Lynden. But he became my boyfriend, but we didn't see each other that often.